So welcome everyone to A County for All Cars, and you join me today back with my Mark II 1971 Triumph Vitesse convertible Bess. And Bess has just come back to me from Anglian Triumph Services, having had much needed and welcome modification. And I thought we'd do a short film just sort of showing you what that is. Now, as you know, I've had this car for about 2 years, having acquired it from a very good friend of mine, Tony. Tony'd had it himself, I think, for about 7 years, but hadn't really driven the car that much. I, of course, drive my cars a lot, and I really wanted to be able to use Bess as much as possible, not only to do these films, but really as a sort of daily driver during the summer, and to take a little bit of pressure off my 1967 Mark I. So one of the main issues I had with this car when I got it was the accelerator pedal. Now, this had been adapted by a previous owner when they changed the original Stromberg carburettors for twin SUs, and it meant that the very smooth acting rod linkages from the pedal to the carburetors, which you find on the factory spec cars, had to be replaced with a cable setup. But they had tried to fit the cable to the original accelerator, or so it seemed, but it turns out that it was a little bit more Heath Robinson than that. I'll just get the original pedal so you can have a look at it. We'll just come into the car and I can probably show you better here. So what we're looking at is this sort of organ pedal arrangement, which would sort of sit, if you can imagine, on the floor like this, and then obviously the action is with the foot going flat on the pedal, pushing it forward, and as it does so, at the top, just here, the cable comes out of the top, you push down and it pulls down on the cable. So the way this worked is the original cable, represented by this red piece of wire here, would come through the top. The organ pedal is hinged at the bottom, as you see there, and then simply by pressing on the pedal, tilting it forward, it then pulls down on the cable, pulling against the carburetor. But you notice that the only spring at this end is located just here at the bottom, and it's little more than a sort of, almost like a sort of clock spring, really inadequate. The other problem is that the hinge bolt itself is a sort of homemade device. Someone's just found a bolt from their shed, I think. So what you get in effect is a pedal that moves from side to side. And if you can see this, because there's just too much play. So getting rid of that. What the guys at Anglian Triumph Services have done is to very kindly fit a Triumph Spitfire setup. So I've now got a top hinged pedal, as you can see, with a somewhat more substantial spring, which hinges at the top and provides a smooth action all the way down and up. So that pedal is then linked to the twin SU setup, which, as I've explained in earlier videos, is a non-standard setup. So you can see the cable emerges obviously here from the bulkhead and comes round to the throttles here. And again, one of the things that John and David have done is to install these extra springs coming off the manifold, whereas previously they now sit horizontally. They previously relied on one spring coming off the bottom vertically. So again, we get this fantastically smooth action. So if I just show you there. So what it's done by way of sort of transforming this is to make it much smoother when you're moving in traffic, and you don't get the sort of kangaroo starts that you're getting with the sort of on-off action of the previous setup. Anyway, I thought we'd hook the camera up to the car and just take her for a little blast so you can see what I mean. You probably get a sense now of just how smooth and responsive that foot pedal is. We'll give her a little run. And I'll try to do it without knocking the camera over, which is currently clipped into the base of the seat. Now I'm having to move my right foot slightly around the camera here, so it's not actually falling in a natural position, but you get the idea. So I'm just going to bring the car almost to a halt, and then we'll just easily pedal up and then off. And the effect is a sort of an immediate response. So very, very smooth, and the pedal doesn't require the kind of pressure that it needed previously, because the linkage is not as convoluted as it had been. I'm sad in a way that I've lost the originality of the setup, but of course in this car the whole setup was non-original the minute that the previous owners had changed the Stromberg carburetors to SUs. Things that I also asked John and David to do was to swap out the needles in the carburetors. We did this exercise about 6 months ago, but I got the sense that the needles that we'd chosen then weren't quite right for the application of the carburetors in this car. And after a little bit of research, David and John were able to find the right needles, and I'll put those in the description for this video if anyone's interested. But what it has done is to enhance the power delivery, particularly at the top end in this car, and without a doubt it certainly lifted the top speed, which I was able to test on the A12 a few days ago. I won't say what that was for fear of self-incrimination, but it was surprising to say the least. But these two jobs that they've done for me, one the accelerator pedal, which obviously changes the whole pedal action, and also swapping out the carburetor needles, has made the whole experience of driving this car much more enjoyable, and a lot more fun. We'll just give her a little bit of a blast up this road in a second on the straight. And we're at 60 already. And limited, frankly, only by the car in front. Anyway, I hope you enjoy this short video. Drive It Day is just around the corner, and I'm hoping to be able to produce a film on that this year when I'll be out with the East Anglian Practical Classics Car Club on a road run. In the meantime, I just want to offer an apology to a few of my subscribers. Guys, I did promise that I would try to set up a meet and a road run of our own in April. I'm afraid I've had some minor health issues which have meant that I haven't been able to predict when I have been able to actually get out and drive. I've had a problem with my left foot. It looks as though I'm slowly getting on top of this, and so what I'm hoping to be able to do is to arrange something in the next 8 weeks or so, and I will let you know and publish this online. I'm really keen to do this and to get a chance to meet you all, so please bear with me. But in the meantime, for everyone, thanks for joining me again, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Take care.